What's up, y'all? I'm back out here at the range on a sunny, humid day. It's been raining for a solid week, as I'm sure most of y'all know, so it's a swamp out here. It was supposed to be kind of cloudy today and a breeze, but I hadn't seen either one yet. The breeze is finally starting to pick up, so hopefully it'll knock this humidity down a little bit. But I know most of y'all don't come here for a weather report, so let's get to business. I've got a few good tests planned for the day, and this first one's going to be some more testing of my favorite 10 mil. So I got the jelly contraption set up, ready to go with a couple of chronos and 2 fresh blocks of gel. First testing these right here, so you get a really nice clear picture of what goes on. Using the same heavy clothing barrier as usual with the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And like I said, for this one here, we're taking another look at my absolute favorite 10 mil. It's the Buffalo Bore 180 grain. Now, I've tested this stuff a few different times and it performs absolutely fantastic every single time. Normally it's been through my G20. I think maybe every time of my G20 or 29. Through my G20, I always see from 1300 to 1320. So you talking about some really nice velocity and energy. Now, the highest they're claiming on the box in their site is 1350, and that was out of a 5-inch. I believe it was a Colt Delta Elite 5-inch that was gotten from. Here's a quick look at the cartridge, brass case with that HP on it. I'm not sure, I can't remember if this is a Nosler or an XTP. I want to say a Nosler, but I could be wrong. But either way, one thing I do know is it does a fantastic job. And since I'm always running this stuff through my G20 or 29, I figured we'd wake it on up today and send it to its full potential. So for the shortest one here, I've got my 5-inch Magnum Research 1911, obviously chambered in 10 mil. And then for a long one here, we've got the 16-inch Kriss Vector. But one thing I can tell you before I even send the first round, we're going to see some fantastic performance here. I'm just really curious to see how much more we get out of these longer barrels. Let's get it all set up and find out. All right, y'all, let's see how fast we can get this stuff moving. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each one, starting with this 5-inch Magnum Research first. Now, those of y'all not familiar with this lab radar, you're gonna get multiple velocity readings. The first one I've got set where the gel is here, which this time is actually gonna be right at 6 yards. I normally do this testing right at 10 feet or 3 yards, but I felt like this was a little too close and I don't wanna get real far out as far as defensive purposes, so I settled with 6 yards. It was a good even spot, number one. And 18 feet, I mean, I think that's a very realistic distance for inside home defense. So 6 yards is going to be, or actually the large number is actually going to be at the muzzle, and then the 5 across the bottom, the first one of those is set for 6 yards, which is where the gel is going to be. And then I've got them set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. So let's see what this 5-inch gives us out of the Buffalo Bore. 1357, 1361, 1362, 1368, and 1376. Let me tell y'all what, this is why I absolutely love this Buffalo Bore. That right there is what 700 plus foot-pounds of energy from a 10 mil looks like. Let's check out this average. All right, you cannot ask for any more than this from a 180 grain commercial loading. So 5-round average here, we got 1,365 feet per second, well over 700 foot-pounds of energy. Our extreme spread was 19 with a 7.4 standard deviation. So incredibly nice and consistent stuff, and that velocity is just so nice. Again, this is why Buffalo Bore is my #1 10 mil bar none. But let's get this reset and see what that Vector does for it. All right, let's see what we get from this 16-inch Vector. I'm not expecting anything just insanely high above and beyond that 5-inch. If I was guessing, I would say maybe 1450. Hopefully we get more than that, but I don't expect a whole lot more than that. Let's see what happens here. 1562, 1539, 1538, 1533, 1509, Oh, and that was all 5 of them, wasn't it? That was all 5, so it picked up more than I thought it would. Let's check out the average. All right, y'all, this buffalo was moving like it just got hit with a red hot cattle prod out of that Kriss Vector. You had a 5-round average of 1,536 FPS. That's well over 900 foot-pounds of energy. Now, it did open up through that Vector. As far as our spread, we had a 53 extreme spread with a 19 standard deviation. That doesn't really surprise me, but I guess it kind of does, but I guess not really. All that aside, this stuff is going to do a fantastic job in the gel. There's no doubt about it. So 1536 right here, and if you remember out that 5-inch, it was 1365. So you talking about 171 feet per second difference stepping up to that 16-inch barrel. So that is definitely what I would call a significant difference. That's over 10%. So pretty big difference right there. All that being said, both of these things, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind, are going to do a fantastic job in the gel. Well, let's get this all set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Buffalosaurus Rex jelly time. We'll put one from each barrel length into the gel from here at 6 yards, starting with this 5-inch Magnum Research. This is going to give us some fantastic performance. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind. All right, that should have been perfect right there. Let's go check it out. All right, y'all, nothing surprising down there. That stuff looks absolutely fantastic. So this Kriss Vector is just gonna ramp it up. I mean, that's all it's gonna do. That was still carrying 700 foot-pounds of energy at 6 yards. So this one right here is gonna make that jelly jump and jive for sure. All right, another perfect placement. Let's go check this out. All right, y'all, let's take a look at this stuff down here. Really, all I need to do is point. I mean, that says it all right there. The numbers and what you're looking at right here says everything you really need to know. This stuff did an absolutely fantastic job. But we'll look at them one by one here. On the top, that was the one from the 5-inch 1911. As you can see, I mean, it comes in, it threw that block around, it transferred all 700 plus pounds of that energy right through here, buddy. One thing I'm also glad to see is you had a couple little fragments, but nothing bad at all. It pretty much held together. You got a couple little pieces of lead from both of them, but nothing what I thought we might see with that velocity. So it keeps on trucking all the way through this first block, and it's actually pretty cool looking in there. It's so clear you might be able to see when I bring you in closer. It actually kind of touched the end of this first block. Now the disruption I can see stops about 1/4 of an inch short, so we're gonna call that 15 3/4, but it actually made some action going on in the end of that block. And then if you jump down here to the bottom, obviously that one's out of the Kriss Vector. More of the same, just more of it. I mean, absolutely fantastic energy transfer right here. Anybody that tells you this kind of energy right here don't matter, even from a handgun, is just, I mean, they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, to put it nicely. They have lost it if they think this kind of energy is not meaning anything. So again, just absolutely incredible disruption and energy transfer right there. All the way through this block, it's causing that disruption. You can just look at it and tell. And this one actually does touch the very end of this 16-inch block. It wants to poke into that next one, but it stopped pretty much right there at 16. And you got fantastic expansion from both of these. So here you are a little closer again. On the top, the 5-inch 1911, the bottom, the 16-inch Kriss Vector. I mean, just look at that, y'all. That is fantastic. That's some beautiful energy transfer right there. And you can see what I mean. You got some little pieces of lead, but not really a whole lot for the velocity we got out of this stuff. Look at that nice disruption all the way through these blocks. There's your one from the 1911, and then down there on the bottom is the one from the Vector. And if we move up here, I don't know if that's gonna come through. I think it does. You can see that little circle on the face of that block where it was like it thought about it but didn't quite make it, but the block got so scared it tried to run off and left a little trail behind. And then here from above again, I mean, just incredible energy transfer right there. This time, if you're looking at it like this, that's the 1911. The one down there at the bottom is the Vector. So a little bit misleading because we're so far away. It's tricky here. I'm having to get you in an angle, but I mean, you get the picture. There's really nothing much left to see here. Just absolutely incredible performance. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. As you can see, just massive expansion on these things. This one right here is from the 5-inch 1911. This one is from the Vector. I mean, look what that Vector did. It just basically folded it back over itself, twisted it upside down, inside out, just all kind of mangled up right there. And I will have to say, I think we lost a good bit more material than I originally thought. Once I was getting this out, there was a lot of little flakes, but still a huge chunk of lead left right here and a massive frag expansion, if we want to call it that. But let's see how much we did actually lose. This one right here from the 1911, they both started at 180, of course. This one is down to 171.8, so not much loss right there. This one again, 180 starting. And this one's down to 156.2, so definitely a much more loss right there, but still, that's a nice chunk of lead left. And then as far as the sizes, these should be really similar. This one here from the 1911, you got 670 and 631, so nice expansion right there. And then this one from the Vector that turned all inside out, you got 661 and 648. So again, really nice expansion there and just absolutely beautiful performance from both of these. And there you go, y'all, the Buffalo Bore 10 mil 180 grain. Again, I already knew what we were gonna see right here. Absolutely fantastic performance. This just kicked it up above and beyond all the notches that I've seen so far. This would be absolutely beautiful, perfect for defensive use inside a home. I mean, just look, the penetration's perfect, the energy transfer is perfect. You got beautiful expansion out of both of these barrel lengths, and you're still carrying some very nice energy even out to a 6-yard distance. So long story short, nothing I saw here today changed my mind in any way. It just completely solidified my opinion that Buffalo Bore 180 grain 10 mil is the best that you can get. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for a fantastic way to start the day of testing. Absolutely beautiful performance out of this stuff from both of these barrel lengths. Again, I had absolutely no doubt because it does a beautiful job through the G20 and a G29. So this just took that up a notch. I mean, you got the perfect penetration, beautiful expansion, a little bit of fragmentation, absolutely incredible energy, even out to 6 yards through that 5-inch. You were over 700 pounds, probably still over 900 even out of the Vector out there at 6 yards. So yeah, it may not be moving 2,000 FPS and 2,000 foot-pounds of energy, but anybody that tells you that this kind of energy, again, does not matter is got some serious thinking to do. So like I've said over and over through multiple videos, this is my absolute favorite 10 mil. A lot of people still ask me, and I just linked to the videos of this, but for anybody still wondering what 10 mil I prefer, this is it, bar none. In any scenario, I'm carrying this 180 grain Buffalo Bore. I know some people may want 200 grain hard cast or something like that. I get it, I totally get it, but Buffalo Bore makes that too, so it's going to be better than anybody else's unless you're doing it yourself. But in my personal opinion, there's nothing I'm going to run into probably on this continent that 180 grain Buffalo Bore cannot handle. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. Any of y'all out there run this Buffalo Bore after seeing me test it several times? Were you running it before seeing me test it? If not, what are you running in 10 mil? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, take a second, click that thumbs up button down below, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you got those notifications turned on so you get notified when I upload stuff. Take a second, like I always ask you, and check out those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you get after hitting those links up, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really appreciate that. Like always, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got a couple more interesting things planned for out here today, so stay on the lookout for those. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see y'all soon.